Hey guys, this is James.
And this is Denny from TDB bringing you guys episode 88. That's 88 different teas that we have tasted on the show. I think that's spectacular, actually. That's pretty cool.
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
We're going to get to 100 pretty soon.
I know, dude.
Yeah.
We should do something. Let us know in the comments what we should do for our 100th episode.
Yep.
It needs to involve wearing clothing.
Most likely.
Most likely.
Unless it's a really good idea.
Okay. We have this is a black tea that's going to perform like a pu'er tea, apparently.
Yeah, so Paul from White2Tea's just released his black tea lineup because we're way in the future. So he just released it at the end of November, and so he said that described this as a pu'er lover's black tea. And so I think it uses material that's normally reserved for pu'er tea to make some black tea or red tea in Chinese.
I'm actually getting kind of a mushroomy smell off of this.
Yeah.
It's weird. But yeah, so we have 5 grams of leaf in a 125 milliliter, 120 milliliter gallon. And yeah, let's go for all of it. Cool. Okay. And we're going to do pretty flash-oriented brewing style. This might be a little bit more than I would normally use. Just eyeballing it, but we're going to give it a shot and see. So we'll give it a quick rinse here. And we'll have to see how this performs in terms of we think if it lives up to the pu'er-esque description. A little sediment on there. Definitely needs a rinse. But nice. It's definitely a red tea.
Yep, look at that.
And go for it.
Smells like a Yunnan Black.
Yeah, it smells like a Yunnan Black to me. And get a little bit of the vanilla-y pu'er nose that sometimes I can have. But we'll see. Quite fruity and floral. So, looking forward to this. Not as much of the corn sweetness that I would expect from a black tea, but we'll see how we do. I'll call that good.
Yeah.
So this is pretty much a just shot in the dark in terms of what we're drinking here.
It's kind of a red orangey color.
Yeah, the actual dry material was beautiful.
Yeah.
Nice long leaves.
I can smell it all the way from here.
Yeah, it's got more of that corn sweetness coming out of it now.
Yeah.
I'm interested in why Paul thinks this is more of the pu'er lover's variety. We'll see.
Yeah, we will see.
Let's give it a shot.
Yeah, as a drinker of black tea yourself, I was very curious to get your opinion on this.
Yeah,
and neither of us have yet to drink this. Cheers.
Cheers.
It's a bit different than what I'm used to as far as like Yunnan Blacks. It's a little bit more mouth action going on.
Yeah. It's definitely still thin. It needs another steeping.
Probably a little bit longer. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that the amount of leaf that we're using is actually spot on here, so that's a relief. One of the things that ticks me off the most is over brewing or using too much leaf with black tea. It just would ruin something that normally would be really good. So.
Yeah. And a lot of it still tastes like a black tea.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Aftertaste specifically for me, I'm getting kind of a little bit of that sort of smoky, corn roasted sort of vibe out of the end of it.
At the front is, I think, where it stands out a little bit in that it has some of that, like, I don't know, that stuff going on in your mouth.
Yeah, well, it definitely doesn't...
A little bit more lively.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't fit square in the black tea category in terms of the front of it, like you're saying, James. I think it's got a little bit more fruit, a little bit sweeter. Give it a smell, yeah. And we're definitely brewing up nice and dark here.
And how do you think this compares? Well, I'll ask you after this cup, but how do you think this would compare with like that Islao Mountain Black that you love so much?
Actually, they smell quite similar. So, but let's give this a taste and see. Cheers. I think it's fitting more into that black tea category now. It's really well balanced. It's not particularly bitter at all. Has like a nice lasting long finish. Little bit of that sort of black tea chocolatey stuff at the end.
It's not as sweet as I'm used to for black teas, and that might have to do with the parameters we're using.
Interesting.
Just because we are using... it's kind of funny, when we're trying to figure out how to brew this, it's like we're using a little bit more leaf than we would for a black tea, but a little bit, much less than we would for a raw pu'er.
Right.
So
Right.
we might be getting kind of in between worlds right there.
I think that, just to answer your question about the Islao Mountain black tea, this actually is fairly similar in a good way. I think this one has a longer finish. I think it's not quite as sweet as the Islao Mountain one. Similar in terms of the fruit. There is something very unique going on in the first half of this tea that I don't really know how to describe very well, to be honest with you. But it's good. I don't know. It doesn't fit really deep, like I said, it doesn't really quite fit square in that black tea category. The second half of it is like, of course, this is black tea. I think if you were to taste this blind, you probably would put it in the black tea category, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's definitely more of a black tea than a raw pu'er, but it's interesting that it has those characteristics. I guess in a raw pu'er, you would also be searching for that hui gan or that returning sweetness. And I get a little bit of that in here.
I'm going to give this one more shot. And I'd be curious to see how long this brews for. I'm guessing that it's going to brew for maybe 2 more, including this. You can see the red on the actual leaves is really beautiful. This is really delicious, if I haven't said that yet. It stands on its own, I think, a lot. I wouldn't pair this with anything. This would be probably too delicate to just go off first thing in the morning either. So this would be kind of like a bring on the show tea, sit down and have some friends try this out. Not necessarily beginner black tea in that it could be it could be appreciated by an advanced tea drinker, but I think it's a beginner black tea in the sense that it's really flavorful and sweet. It's not one of those ones that's kind of novel in its funkiness.
Not 1,000 punches in the face.
And yeah.
And I've also noticed as I'm drinking this, even though this is only the second tea, and it might be because this is the second tea session today, is that it seems to pack a fair amount of caffeine.
Yeah.
I'm feeling a slightly elevated, getting ready to take some punches in the face.
This is also, I think, a warming tea too.
Definitely.
Yeah, and it's brewing up really quite pleasantly. Yeah, I think this is pretty tasty, I have to say. I think it does stand alone on its own. It's got stuff going on in the front of it that you guys have to let us know what you think about it. Go out there and grab a 5-gram sample. Can they do that?
They cannot.
They can't, so they can get probably an ounce or something like that.
50 grams, yeah. 50
okay,
Gs.
Cool. 50 Gs.
That's what you should say every time.
Every time, no matter what, in order to sound more authoritative and gangster.
Yeah, that's a life tip for you guys. That one's on the house.
Yeah, when you're in your next job interview, make sure to use the word G's a lot. Cheers to G's.
Yeah. This is probably the smoothest steep of them all. Nice texture going on. A little bit creamier. Still got those kind of like fruit notes.
Yeah, I think creamier is definitely right. Yeah, I think it's balanced out, and I think the next steeping won't be nearly as good. I think these last 2 have been pretty tasty, though. Yeah, this is definitely challenging to me, and again, one of the cool parts about tasting tea is that you're like, what the hell is this? And it can be like, this is kind of gross, or like, oh, this is kind of delicious. I don't know what it is, though, about it. So I'm putting this in the second category of delicious, and I don't know what it is about it. But if someone else wanted to learn more about delicious things, but they don't know enough about them, James,
That's a good question. Well, first they should hit that subscribe button on our channel. And we've been releasing lots of videos, I think 3 times a week now. We do one video together, one video each separately, as well as go to tdb.org where we're releasing lots of content on pu'er, oolongs, and all that sorts of things. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Cheers, guys.